today's video, we're going to take a look at 5 simple blues concepts that you can add to your solos to sound a lot more professional. It's super simple, fun, and it doesn't have to work with the blues like you heard in the intro. Grab your guitar, we're going to get started right after this. Hello, my name is David Wallerman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world find their unique voice on the instrument to tell their own personal musical story. And today is one of these videos where we're going to cover 5 very simple ideas illustrated by a lick. We're going to be in the key of G. Now I'm going to use a backing track, the backing track that you heard in this intro. The backing track is just a static G minor 7, kind of a funky rock type of thing. Of course, you can apply these concepts to whatever you want, including traditional blues, but that's what we're going to use today. And this backing track right here, along with the tabs that we're gonna use in this video, are available for free. The top line of the video description will take you to a page where you can sign up to a free course, which includes most of my YouTube videos. From 2019, we started doing that, and you can access all the videos for free and download all the tabs, all the backing tracks, all that good stuff. All right, without further ado, concept number 1. All right, concept number 1 is don't stay in the box. So what am I talking about? The boxes are those positions, the slice of the fretboard that you memorize. Pentatonic scale at first, typically, and that's what we're using here, the pentatonic scale. And don't stay in there. Now the lick that I shared with you, the example right here, all the notes of this lick, we could, if we wanted to, play all of these notes in the same exact box. That first position that I'm using here, a little bit higher on the fretboard between frets 15 and 18. That first position, I could transpose everything here. But it doesn't sound the same. If I transition between positions, right here, I transitioned to the position just before. This little slide here adds a lot to your expression. Oops. And then back in here. Those tiny little micro movements really do a lot to your musicality, your personality. So that's what I would suggest. Learn this lick and, of course, come up with other licks. And positions that are following each other are typically easier to get into. They help you memorize the fretboard as well. But of course, you could transition from position 1 to 4 if you'd like to. Just make those transitions, those connections, and see where it leads you. All right, concept number 2, adding some imperfections in your playing. Why would you do that? Well, you would do that because imperfection creates personality. When I'm talking to you, I have a lot of flaws in my speech. I stutter sometimes, I use the wrong words, I trip over, and that's what makes me me, and that's what you want on the instrument. So you can achieve that by using microbends. What are microbends? Microbends are basically imperfect bends. You're not quite in tune. Let me show you here a close-up. If we're on that first position of G, just like the first lick, and I decided to play this note, for example, on the 3rd string, 17th fret, this note right here can be suggested by playing a note just before and bending it slightly. It's a little imperfect, right? Now, if I add that to a lick, if I had something like this, I could do. Right? And if you learn how to use that and control that, your licks are no longer going to sound something like this. they're going to sound like this. See what I'm doing there? I'm just suggesting some notes. So the lick that I wrote for you is it's just an example, of course. Use it in all different positions. Master that micro bend. Add some imperfection to your playing, which in turn is going to make your playing a little more perfect. All right, concept number 3. All right, concept number 3 is one of my favorites. I do that all the time. It adds so much to your playing. It's approaching a note, a bended note from really far below. So you're kind of taking a leap of faith sometimes, depending on where you're starting and where you are in your improv. This is more controlled because of the lick. We know where we are landing. And we are starting this lick on the 2nd string. Let's see, 18th fret. That we're bending, so that is right here, that is in that first position again. So that's the bend, but we're approaching this by starting really far below. It doesn't matter where. The note you're starting from is not really heard, it's more of an effect, and you're sliding in and reaching for it. See, it sounds different than just starting the bend right away. So what I would do to get used to that is pick a position. So we're in that first position of minor pentatonic, and just focus on one note. Maybe we'll do the 3rd string, 17th fret, that we're going to bend a whole step, so it sounds like the 19th. Get this sound really locked into your mind. That's the note you're reaching for. Play the bend in a natural state without, approaching it from below several times. So you get used to the amount of tension that you need on your finger. Every guitar is a little different, but that feeling that you're getting should be done several times so that you can really come back to it. And that's what you want. When you want to do that big reach. So it starts with getting comfortable with how much pressure, how much muscle you're using, how much tendons, your placement. And then give it a try when you're playing. And so forth. All right, let's try concept number 4. All right, concept number 4 is master the other 2. What do I mean by that? Well, we are in a pentatonic setting, penta, 5, there are 5 notes, and in Western music, typically we can use 7. So there are 2 missing notes within our pentatonic scale. Those missing notes are, if we are in minor pentatonic, some form of second, so minor second or a major second, and some form of sixth, the minor sixth or the major sixth. Now, the choice can be yours if the 2nd and the 6th are not given to you by the track. But if it is given to you by the track, then you need to respect what kind of 2nd, what kind of 6th. Use your ear. But really quick, here's what it looks like on the instrument. If we're in that G position right here, we're starting with a root. That's 1. And then we have a minor 3rd. Now between the 1 and the minor 3rd, we have these 2 notes. That's a minor 2nd and a major 2nd. Okay. Now, if we continue our scale, we have 1, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 7. There is no 6th. The 6th is found between the 5th and the 7th. We have a minor 6th and a major 6th. Now, typically, most of the times in this kind of style of music, rock, funk, blues, the 6th and the 2nd that we're going to use are the major ones. The major 2nd and major 6th are most of the time going to work. Let me show you where they are placed in this traditional pentatonic scale. We have, let's start with the major 2nd. The major 2nd is on the low E string, 2 frets higher than the 1. So in this case, we have frets 15, 17, 18. And we'll have the same thing on the high E string, 15, 17, 18. We also have a second kind of hidden here on the 3rd string, 14th fret. So for the seconds, those are the seconds. As far as the sixths go, we have a 6th on the 4th string, 14th fret, and 2nd string, 17th fret. So altogether, we have our minor pentatonic scale, to which we can add major second, major 6, major second, major 6, and major second. Okay, so those can be used in your lick. So if you have a lick like this, for example, you could go here instead of that minor 7th, go here. Sounds a little different. With the track, now you can add the second. It works too. And so forth. So that lick that I showed you in the intro uses the 2nd and the 6th. Memorize it and make sure that you're aware of where that 2nd and where that 6th is within that lick. Use it over the backing track. And if your ear tells you, no, that 2nd does not work, try the minor 2nd. Most of the time, major 2nd, major 6th are going to work. But just be aware of that. Master the 2nd and the 6th. All right, concept number 5. Here we go. And finally, concept number 5, only the last note counts. Well, maybe the first one too, but really the last note is the one that people are going to remember. So if in between you're playing some notes that are kind of out and don't make much sense, as long as the last note is a good note, that it fits well and rests well, people are going to forgive what you're playing in between, and they're actually almost going to enjoy it because you're bringing them to a place of that is uncomfortable, but you're making them come back home, and coming back home is always a good feeling. So if you can go to a place that is a little obscure, come back home well and rested, that feeling of, I love home, that's going to feel even better than if you did not go outside. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Experiment with these 5 different ideas, these 5 different licks. And really, that's key. It's not just about memorizing these very simple licks, examples. No, it's about taking these concepts and applying them and thinking through them and see where they lead you. They will probably spark new ideas, and that's what this is all about. Again, the backing track that I just played over is available with the tabs for these licks for free. The link is below. Check it out, and if this was your first visit, thank you for stopping by. You should consider subscribing because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a new video like this one comes out, helping guitar players around the world find their unique voice on the instrument to tell their personal musical story. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you very soon.